It is, of course, Adrian Yanez, one of the fast rising stars of the UFC right now. And Adrian, I just want to jump into it. What's more nerve wracking, man? Is it more nerve wracking to get ready for a fight and walk into a cage, or to go out there on a basketball court and shoot a free throw in front of a packed audience and
Oh man.
want to hit it?
Man, I would say it like this. Like I was just happy that I touched the rim because my shot is super trash. Like I had just found out that I'm not supposed to be shooting like that. Like I was like, yeah, like I was like I had just learned that like your dominant hand is the one that shoots. It's the other hand that's like kind of like the guide type of deal. And I was like, oh, okay. I had just learned that like about maybe like a week or two before, so I didn't have that like much. Yeah, no. So I was like, you know what? My goal is just to touch the rim. That's it. I don't need it. Yeah. So, but it was nerve wracking. Like I wasn't nervous at all up until like all up until they gave me the ball and I started walking up, and I was like, oh, this is weird. Like, 'cause I just see the cheerleader. I see like it kind of dimmed down and walked, and I just see, I see Clutch right there next to me, and I'm like seeing everything. Everything was like, and they're like, oh, the part that made me nervous too is that they're like, if he makes a shot, this charity gives $5,000. And
Oh, come on.
I was like, oh, you put that pressure on me. I was like, oh no, I would feel so bad. Like then, whenever I shot, hit the rim, I was like, whenever it left my hand, I thought it was going in. I was like, oh yeah, I got it. And then it hit the side. It did a whole little rollout, and I was like, damn. I was like, oh man, I feel so bad for that charity right now. I feel so bad. But I'd say that was actually a little bit more once I was there. Once I walked up, I was like nervous. But fighting wise, nah, I'm just nervous in the back, and then walk out. I'm like, yeah, let's get it going, let's go. But yeah, that shot was nerve wracking, especially that they put up the number up there. I was like, oh man, I feel bad. The charity lost out on $4,000 just because I missed it. Damn it!
Oh man, that's so wild, man. What an experience. Well, listen, one of the most talked about guys in the game right now, man. 5-0, in the UFC, but just one fight last year in 2022. You got the bonus, so that's nice. But I guess my question is just, when you reflect back on the last 12 months, like, are you satisfied with how things went? Are you frustrated? Are you disappointed? How would you rate your 2022?
My 2022, man, I say like this. It was in my personal life, it was amazing. Like man, fatherhood, man, being a family man, amazing, man. I'm loving the just being the dad. Professional wise, like fighting wise, I was a little bit frustrated. I'll say it like this: on my end, they asked me to come back in February, but they wanted me on that Houston card. And for personal reasons, I had already made the statement to my manager, to everybody, like, look, when my son's born, first 3 months, not doing anything. I'm gonna be at home. I'm gonna be with my son. I got to be a family man. Got to be there for the mom. Got to be there for my son. I just got to make sure everything goes well for the first 3 months, and after that, I can start ramping up training, start training, and all that stuff. So, but they did ask me in February to fight in Houston, and I was like, hey man, I already made this decision that I wasn't gonna, I can't go. Like, I dreamed of fighting at the Toyota Center, but on my end, I just wanted to hold up on my end for the mom, because I told the mother of my child, I was like, look, I'm gonna be here for you. I'm gonna be here for the baby. Like 3 months, I know it's gonna be hard. I'm gonna be here. I gotta be the man. I gotta be a man. Like so my professional life can hold off right now. But yeah, so I missed out on a dream opportunity of mine just so I could make sure that I'm there for my family. So on that end, super happy I did that, because man, if I would have fought and then something were to happen, I'd be like I wouldn't know how to take that. So, but I'm happy I took that route. But once March came around, I started asking for fights, started being like, hey, look, I'm starting to ramp up training, started to do this, everything's working out, we're working well. So it kind of took a little bit of time. I don't know how the division had looked at the time, and pretty much like I wasn't ranked, so I thought it would have been easier to get a fight. And then legitimately had found out like about 6 weeks out that that Austin, the Austin card, it was going to be in Austin. And I was like, yeah, no, like, let me get on that. Let me get on this. So I was like begging for a fight. The only fight that was out there was the Tony Kelly fight, and at the time, uh, I was trying to look for names that had called me out, and also he was one on the list, but uh, because I didn't necessarily want to fight Tony Kelly because he was behind me, and I wanted to fight forward, and that was the only name that they were offering me, and they're like, that's the only name that you'd be able to get for the Austin card. Other than that, you'd have to wait, and I fought. Phenomenal fight, phenomenal reaction, and everything. It blew me up like so much more, especially even just with the storyline overall. Like that whole thing kind of blew it up, and I'm happy how everything had turned out. Afterwards, like once I started getting the names, started trying. I wanted to get 2 fights in, but stuff just wasn't planning out, and the names that I was getting said need more time. I got turned down a couple times. I remember being on the phone with my manager, being like, "Dude, I'll fight anybody, please. Like, I just need to get a fight. Need to do this. Like, I just want to fight, man. I'm trying to be active. Like, I don't care who they put in front of me." And he started like saying, "This guy, this guy, this guy," and I was like, "Yeah, put me, sign me up. Say yes. I'm here. I'm here for it. I'm here to fight. I need a fight." Because then I wanted to fight in New York, MSG, but stuff didn't plan out. And then after that, I kind of knew once MSG kind of fell through. I just didn't. I had a feeling that I wasn't gonna fight anytime soon. I was like, all right, well, I just don't know what's gonna go on right now. And then at the end of the year, I started finding out, like in December, like late December, I started finding out that UFC San Antonio was gonna be a thing. So I pushed. I was like, nah, like I gotta be UFC San Antonio. I gotta fight. I gotta do that. Then Rob Font's name come up, and I was like, yeah, no, 100%, I'll fight Rob Font. Like, and then Sean Shelby said, yeah, look, I would 100% want to do Rob Font in San Antonio. I was like, yeah, more power to it. Let's do it. Like, yeah. And we're going back and forth trying to see what that date was. And then next thing you know, he needed a couple more weeks. And, I was a little bit upset because I was like, man, I wanted San Antonio. I wanted to fight in Texas. And yeah, but I got the fight. So it was pretty cool. But professionally, I was a little bit frustrated, but personally, man, I couldn't ask for things to be better, man. Like just personally, man, I'm the happiest I've ever been, and I'm like just really enjoying life. Professionally, a little annoyed.
Well, that's awesome. Well, first and foremost, let me just say, man, props to you as a father for keeping that commitment, right? I mean, that means something. You can never get that time back. So I respect the heck out of you for keeping that commitment, even if it cost you a dream. You know what I mean? So man to man, respect to that. So talk to me now. Rob Font, like you said, I know you wanted that San Antonio bad, right? But Rob
Yeah,
Font, I mean,
yeah.
stylistically, you two guys going at it is going to be phenomenal. So I guess talk to me about that. I mean, was there any thought of like, well, let's just tell Rob Font no and let's see if we can get somebody else on San Antonio? Or did you know that this matchup was so good? It's like, well, we'll just have to move away from San Antonio.
Honestly, if I'm being 100% honest, I told him I wanted San Antonio no matter what, and pretty much like I was like, look, I was I was going back and forth, and I was telling him like, look, what's 2 weeks? Like, what is 2 weeks initially? I was like, we still have such a long time till then. I was like, what is 2 weeks? And pretty much like that's what the message is being relayed. They're like, no, we need that extra 2 weeks. And I was like, well, fine. Let's try to get somebody else. Like I want to fight in San Antonio. I want to fight in front of my home crowd. I feel like that is a perfect setup because like right after I fought in Austin, coming back to fight in San Antonio, I have a lot of family in San Antonio. I feel like I would get a big pop in San Antonio just because like man, I was like, I know the demographic down there. I know how everything is set up down there. It's like it'd be pro Yanez crowd no matter who I fought. So I was like, yeah, I wanted that, like, because man, I got the taste of it in Austin. I wanted to get a bigger taste of it in San Antonio, just to lead up to whenever I inevitably come back to Houston, So, but yeah, I was like, man, well, if we can't get Rob Font, let's get somebody else. And then they came back and they're like, well, there's only fight that it's really like kind of on the table. Nobody else is. I was like, well. And then they told me, it's like, yeah, this is the only fight. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I don't care. Like, I just want to fight now. Like, I really don't care who it is. I really don't care who it is. You couldn't do 2 weeks, but you're giving me an extra 2 weeks to prepare, so you better be ready for that. So, yeah, I was like super excited, and I was like, yeah, once it got confirmed, I was like, yeah, no, it got me really, really excited.
Yeah, on paper, man, it looks like it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's UFC 287. It's April 8th. We're here in New York. Was there anything on the bout agreement that where? Are you here in New York as
So,
well, or?
See, I've heard rumors that it's New York. I as much as I want to fight New York, I'm kind of a little bit taken back because I don't want to pay those taxes. Look, that's the most comfortable thing about fighting in Texas and fighting in Las Vegas. There's no state taxes,
No state income tax.
so like I'm just like, yeah, like I don't know, I don't want to fight that. I even told my manager specifically, look, California, New York, I don't. If we can do Florida, Nevada, Texas, I'm here for it. He's like, well, Arizona. I was like, yeah, we could do Arizona too. Like I'm cool with that, but once I heard New York, I was like, oh man, I was like, oh damn it. But I'm here for it because it's like New York. It's New York's had some of the biggest fights out there, so I'm 100% cool with it. No matter what the state, what tax I'd had to be paying, but luckily on my end, like I haven't seen anything on the contract or anything like that because we're actually like getting a new one. So like I'm just waiting to see that and waiting to see back the numbers because if it's a big enough number, I don't mind going to New York.
I love it. I love it. Thinking about it like a businessman. I
Yeah.
appreciate that, man. All right, well, look, let's talk. I mean, match comes together, as you said. It's not San Antonio, but it is Rob Font. He's number 6 in the division, right? I mean, you beat him. There's not a lot of names up there in front of him, right? I mean, this could be a
Yeah.
huge acceleration for your career. Are you feeling like, man, if you win this one, now we're talking about a top 5 opponent? We're talking about contendership type stuff?
Oh, absolutely. Like it's one of those fights that like let's just say it like this. I go out there and I start Rob Font that does amazing things for my career. That does amazing things just for what position I get put in. Like it's like I changed my life getting into the UFC and every fight after that has changed something else about my life. Like and it's only been great things. So like I only see this fight as changing my life for the better and I 100% plan on doing that. I knock out Rob Font, man, I would be like, let's just look at his last 3 fights. You got Chito Vera, Jose Aldo, and I believe the one before that was Cody Garbrandt. Those 3 guys, most of those guys have stoppages, like stoppages wins, and they have power. So I knock out Rob Font. Like that says a lot. That says a lot, and be able to do it as the better boxer, going out there, that will like put me up there 100%. Then it puts me up to the guys like what it should do is it should put me at his 6th spot. And then from there, there's not too many guys up there, So I think it would just do wonders. And, inevitably is gonna line me up for the bigger names and possibly give me a fight that like was like kind of been looming around for a little bit is the Sean O'Malley fight. So it would probably put me up there. And then honestly, with how things have been, me going out there knocking out Font, it's only gonna make that fight so much more interesting and so much more bigger than what it would have been if it would have happened back last year, so that oh yeah, nothing but big things. That knocking out Font would change the whole trajectory of like where I'm gonna be at.
I love it, man. I love it. So much meaning in this fight, and it's just stylistically to me amazing. Hey, let me ask you. I know you're a fight fan, man. So, what excites you more? Is it Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo, or is it Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley? Like, which one, as the fight fan that you are, would you want to see first?
The fight fan in me is honestly like just because of the stylistically, because I feel like either one of them, Henry Cejudo or Aljamain, I feel like if they get O'Malley down, it's going to be a lot of problems. And like, not to say anything against Peter Yan's wrestling or offensive wrestling in the top control, I feel like he wasn't able to do what guys like Henry Cejudo or Aljamain do. I just feel like once he gets to the ground, I feel like, man, they just be domination by Henry Cejudo or Aljo. So, and I've seen Aljo go with way bigger guys and control them. Like I've seen him at the Matt Serra gym. And, yeah, like he's competitive with these high level black belts that are bigger than him. And man, like yeah, his grappling is really phenomenal. So on my end, I'd rather see somebody who can stuff a shot like Henry Cejudo and make it interesting in that sense, because Henry Cejudo, he is a little bit short, but he does have like more of a technical game. He looks for game plans. I would like to see the game plan that Henry Cejudo would like to implement, and I would like to see how Aljamain adjusts. They both have really great minds and they're really fight smart. They see things and they like Aljamain might take the little bit more of an unorthodox approach, and Henry Cejudo takes more of like the technical, like orthodox approach, and I want to see how those styles clash, because for O'Malley, it's kind of going to be like, all right, what can O'Malley do in that time that they're closing the distance? And if they do end up closing the distance, I feel like they're going to get the better of him and take him down. And then on top, like I feel it's going to be a little bit more of a, you know, kind of a wait and see if when they can catch something. I feel like Henry Cejudo would be able to control on top and just kind of just ride it out, where I feel like Aljamain would find the submission and submit him.
So well said, man. I know you're a fight fan at heart. So I feel the same way. I'm so intrigued.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are hating that Triple C's coming back and just walking into a title shot, but stylistically, man, I think it's a phenomenal fight.
Oh
man.
yeah,
I can't wait to
100%.
see it.
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like that's a phenomenal fight. Just and a lot of people are like, well, like he doesn't deserve to come back and get the title shot. And I'm just like, bro, he left as a champ, as a double champ. He defended it and he did everything right. He didn't get popped for steroids or anything like that. He came back into the testing pool, did everything right, and he's kept himself relevant while being retired in the mix. So he told me he was coming back in International Fight Week, and he was like, yeah, like I'm gonna be coming back, like we had a good conversation. I like the guy. So yeah, and he's stayed true to his word, and he honestly wanted to come back earlier than expected, but but yeah, no, I think that fight's gonna be a phenomenal fight overall.
I love it. Well, listen, you said the words in the mix. Well, Adrian Yanez, you get this win over Rob Font. Guess who's going to be in the mix? That's going to be you in that discussion, man. So congratulations. I know it was kind of, as you said, professionally a rough 2022, but it's great to hear that things are amazing in your personal life. And hopefully we get to see more of you in the octagon this year and big things on the horizon.
Oh yeah, man. I'm loving living life right now. And man, yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what 2023 brings. And that's so weird to say. I can't wait to see what 2023 brings. Man, it's going to be a phenomenal year.
I love it. Adrian, I appreciate the time, and we'll see you on April 8th.
Yeah, thank you for the platform, man. Thank you so much. Thank you.